Welcome to the Wisdom Reclaimed podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. I'm your host, Layla Sahar, Ayurvedic practitioner, coach, and intuitive, here to support you in awakening the healer within. What if the answers you've been searching for have been with you all along, carried in the timeless practices of ancient rituals, connecting with nature, and pathways of the heart? Here we'll explore how to take responsibility for your life, trust your intuition, and rediscover the wisdom that's always been within you. Hello and welcome to the Wisdom Reclaimed podcast. I am here today with Carmela Cox, who is a manifestation and angel guide who teaches you how to work with your angels to release limiting beliefs, fears, and remember the power of divine love that can manifest your wildest dreams. She believes that miracles get to happen for you when you move in trust with your angels. Thank you so much for being here, Carmela. I'm so excited to have you here. I've known Carmela for some time now, and she's just been such a beautiful, bright light and a wonderful friend to have that's on this path of alignment, of divine love, and intuition as well. So I'm super excited for her to be sharing some of her practices and her wisdom with you all today. Just so the listeners have maybe a little bit more information about you, I would love if you could share your path to becoming an angel intuitive and a manifestation guide and what kind of brought you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and to be a part of this and to share. My journey started about 9-10 years ago, and I received this beautiful angel oracle deck. I just love the gentle messages. I love the gentle imagery. I just loved choosing a card of the day and just feeling so loved and supported. And I was like, I got to learn more about these angels. Like, what's going on here? What's this? And then that's where it all began. I dove in and I took classes and I read books and I had mentors and teachers. And it started with me learning about my own guardian angel and my own angelic team and working with them and having them be a part of my life. And at the same time, I then learned how to do angel readings, which I still do today, which I so love, where I get to connect with other people's angels. So whatever they want clarity and guidance with, I'm listening to what the angels are saying and then giving them the beautiful messages. And then from there, it continued to grow. So I was doing the readings and I was just continuing to deepen into what I'm doing. And then I started my own business full-time about 2.5 years ago. And that's when I added on teaching people how to connect with their angels. And that has been really transformative to see people learn how to connect with their own angels so that they feel so guided and supported, so that they get their own messages and understand them and not be afraid of them, and to see how they've just progressed in life, and also to know that they're always supported and they feel it. So doing that, and from that lens of really having the support and guidance of their angels, being them to manifest anything and everything that they want in life, all through ease, all through so much guidance and support. And that's just been my journey of how that all started and continues to deepen each day with my angels. I get to continue this beautiful relationship with them.
Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful and also seems like very natural journey of just continuing to follow your passion and continuing to follow that spark, right, of that interest of like from the cards and then deepening into more learning and just realizing that that's really your path. I think a lot of people can relate to maybe finding something that they get excited about in the beginning and maybe weren't as brave to take the next steps, right? And so that's a beautiful way for you now to teach others how they can do that. I'm curious, just to take a step back, for people who, maybe have heard of angel numbers or angels, but don't really know what it means to have a connection with your angels. Maybe you can share, A, does everybody have angels? And B, how do we connect to our angels, or how can they help us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we all have angels and we all have a guardian angel that has been with us lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And then from there, and I think of the guardian angels like your best friend. It's like your best buddy that's always there, always supporting you, there throughout your many lifetimes. And then we have other angels still part of our team. So sometimes those angels come in at certain parts of our lives. And then when that's chapter ends, then they can go off, or some are just still part of this beautiful team. But we all have angels. And I think of it as just a beautiful energy, a beautiful way to connect so that you are always guided and supported. The number one thing that I teach people, and the number one thing that I want everyone to know is that they are not alone. I think many times we're here on earth and we think like, hey, it's just me and I have to figure everything out and I have to effort my way and I have to have the weight of the world on my shoulders. And the first thing I want to teach everyone's like, you're not alone. So all of that gets to ease up, and because now you are supported and guided. So what gets to happen when you connect with your angels, it's literally, tell people, just talk, whether it's in your head or out loud, and whether you're just starting, just say like, hey, I'm new at this, just saying hello, I'm open to receiving. And just going about your day and see what pops in for you. Whether it's like you get a certain spark of inspiration to do something, whether it's certain words come to mind, whether you're out and about and you see a certain sign or somebody says something, just see how it comes in for you and don't feel like you need to force it. Like, okay, I said hello, where's my message? Like, just release, they heard you. You might get it later that day, maybe then and there, maybe a couple days later, but just always know you're not alone and that they give you such specific guidance. Like literally, whether it's like, okay, there's this career that I'm not really loving and I want to change to something else that I love, or I want to start my own business, or I want to write my own book, and you might have been afraid or think it's not the right time. And if we just say, I would love some guidance with this, help me. And then you'll start seeing step by step what to do, when to do it. And it's just being open to all of that.
I love the simplicity in that, because I think a lot of times people overcomplicate connecting with the unseen realm, and we get a lot in our heads and in the mind aspect, which the mind is great when it's used for what it's meant for, right? And the intuitive capabilities are not really a place where we can place our rational mind. So this is, and I found this on my own journey of, deepening into my intuitive practices, like, okay, it has to be really specific, or I have to know exactly that this is, but sometimes it's just like, oh, I receive information. I have a thought in my head. Maybe that thought was placed there by the angels, right? Maybe that was my guides showing me. And the more we trust, right? Trust ourselves, trust our inner knowing, and just say, okay, if I think that this is a message, it's a message. That's it. And whether or not it is, the fact that we're continuing to trust ourselves, I think deepens the power of our intuition and opens us up to be able to receive that information more. Like just literally yesterday, I'm preparing for a talk and around reviving ancient wisdom traditions from my ancestral lands, Afghanistan. And my landlord handed me a book that had ancient scriptures that were translated from my homeland that were, I'd never heard of this book. I didn't know that it existed. I didn't know I needed to read it, but it was literally handed to me. And I said, oh yeah, these are my angels, my guides that are placing this here for me so that I can receive. Now I could have easily gone into doubt or question as like, is this really like what, but what's the fun in that? So I love the how easy you make it.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. That is my number one thing, is want people to know that they're always loved and supported. They're not alone. And two, how easy it can be. And then three, once you allow yourself to connect, you get to have what you want in life in this effortless way, in this way that flows. And it does get to be easy, because I think sometimes we think, like you were saying, spiritual practices need to be like, okay, I have to meditate for hours on end when the sun comes up at this specific time, and I have to sit in a certain way, and I have to do all these routines. And what gets to happen is, first of all, everyone's different. The way you communicate with your angels is different from person to person, because it's you and they know how to communicate with you. So some people might be like a lot through music, while other people might be like they visually necessarily see literally the words or the signs all the time. Other people, like for me, a lot of time, I just know, it just drops in. I just know. So part of the fun when I get to work with my clients is like seeing how they communicate with you and the different ways that they do that. But it gets to be easy. It really gets to be like, hey, I'm open, guide me. And then the part you were saying about trust is so important because our minds like taking it like, are we sure? Does that make sense? I don't know. Did you make that up? Was that really a message? And it's like, if you think it's a message, it's a message. And to trust that. And then when you get to continue to trust your angels more and more, you develop this self-trust of, well, I can do anything. Like they're guiding me and I trust that if I just follow what they're saying, I can do anything. And so much gets to open up for you once you do that.
I love that. And I want to go back to what you said in the beginning about just how often we feel like we're alone in this. And it's like little old me has to figure out how to make everything happen. And that's that point in my own journey where I realized like, I don't have to figure it all out. I just have to trust that whatever I need to do will be shown to me. And as long as I ask for that to happen, right? I think a key part is like asking for the help or being open to receiving the help is saying, I don't know how to do this, show me. And so often we think we're alone in this. So we're trying to figure out with our minds, but when we're trying to figure out things, the angels don't have space to come in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I always think of it like the angels, you have the door of the house and they're like knocking like, hey, I'm ready to help you. Let's go. And your door is closed and it's locked. It's like, I'll do it by myself. And we don't intentionally do it. Like we don't intentionally want to feel pressured and stressed and feel like this heavy burden, but for many of us, we don't know there's another way. So that's the first thing of like, wait a minute. I don't have to feel this way. And, sometimes the outside world just kind of shows you that. We're taught to the harder your work, then you achieve your goals. The more hours you put in, then you achieve your goals. You have to be the best of the best of the best in order to achieve your goals. You have to keep going and moving and you can't take a break and there is no such thing as rest. And oh my gosh, you pulled an all-nighter. Yes, great. You're more dedicated, more focused than somebody else. And it's just not true. So it's this conditioning that we have that we see, and then also maybe how you've grown up of like, let me just keep going. Let me be, high achiever. And that's how I was. And not from my parents, not from me in the outside world, just this within. I loved school. And I was just like, okay, I love getting A's. Let's keep going. Let's study. Let's learn. And it was normal for me. It didn't feel stressful. It didn't feel like pressure. It just felt like this was the way of life. So when I was like around like in grad school and I was like, I don't know how to relax. Like, I don't know how to do anything outside of I'm always studying and working. And again, I enjoyed it, but there was no balance there. And it was around that time. And I remember in college, like I'm doing the papers and stuff and I had nothing due. Like looking on all this, nothing was due. No reading, no writing, anything, no papers due. And I was like, what do I do with myself? I didn't know how to just be. And that's one of those themes that kind of comes up every once in a while, every time you like kind of shift to the next level. But what I learned was I don't have to effort and stress and try. It gets to be aligned and in flow. And that's one of the things I learned when I connect to my angels, like, oh, I don't have to keep working so hard. I don't have to keep, I can, okay, this is what I want. Let me wait for the aligned action. Let me take it. And I feel so much more at ease with that.
That's so beautiful. And I think such an important message for so many of us, that are living and working in this modern world that has these expectations, especially in the United States, where it's like work hard and you have to really make your way. Don't take your vacations. Like that's like a badge of honor. I haven't taken any sick days, any vacation days. And it's like, no, that's not in alignment with nature even. Yes. And that's like what you were saying. It just felt like, okay, yeah, that second way of working and being is in alignment with nature. It is literally natural law. Like nature during winter is not striving to blossom, right? It's just resting and it's waiting for the moment that the weather changes, that the sun comes out, that the rains come to bloom. And that is divine timing, which if we know how to align ourselves with that, we don't have to put in effort. We can wait for the moment to receive the information and then work at the moment where it's most optimal. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I love that. I also am curious, right? In working with your angels, do you differentiate your own inner guidance and intuition from your angels' guidance? Or how do you do that? How does one kind of maybe differentiate between the two?
Yeah, it's a great question. Everything to me is like this energy. I had somebody asked me this question too, is like your angels, then also like ancestors, also like spirit guides, and everything just has a different energy. So for me, my intuition is very much like that little feeling I get, and everyone's intuition, they'll get it differently, but sometimes it's like the heart flutter, sometimes like in the gut, but it's like that little feeling of let's not do that, or I just don't feel like going out today. I'm supposed to, I had planned it with my friend, but I just don't feel, I can't place why, it doesn't make sense, I don't know why, it's just I don't feel like it, and that's all I need to go by. Like that's enough for me, and I'll cancel. Well, for angelic guidance, for me, it's usually just a knowing and a specific message. So it's the message of, like, for example, start your own business, do it full time. Okay. Move across the country. Okay. And I'm able to do these big, bold steps when they tell me, and literally anything my angels tell me. And it's usually just, it's like someone just says it, or like it's not a different sound. It's not like a different voice. It's like my own voice. So it's just like, you're going to move. Okay. So it just drops in. And then other times I'll just know, like, oh, I'm going to do this. And that's very much information. For me, sometimes it comes in through music as well, like certain lyrics or song titles. I'm like, oh, this is playing in my head. And I'll have to go through, and then I'm like, and I'll go through the song, and I'm like, oh, there it is. It's like that one line or that verse as that message. But like I said, for some other people, I have a couple clients, like literally they see it. They're like walking, and the truck will have on the sign literally the words that they needed, or the license plate has literally everything, so they see it so visually. For me, I don't get it as much, but that's why I love, like, everyone's angel speaks differently to them, but it's an energy that feels calming and loving. Might feel like it might stretch you a bit in the beginning. You're like, oh wait, I'm not sure, but it's a different energy versus when your mind is like, oh, fearful or pressure, like we got to do that now, or if you don't say yes, then it's too late and you're gonna miss all your opportunities. And angels aren't like that. It's like, hey, let's do this, and it's like, oh, okay. So it's a gentle energy, powerful yet gentle is how I always describe it. Like you're gonna get your insights, you're gonna get exactly what to do, but it's in this loving, gentle way, and know that they're never going to say something and then like leave you. It's never like, okay, great, good luck to you, you know? I wish you the best. It's like, here's your first step. Don't worry, I'm with you. I got holding your hand. We did the first step. Okay, here's the next one. And it's step by step, which is great because so much as humans, we feel like we need to see the whole picture. And because we don't see the whole picture, then we're not even going to take the first step. We're like, I don't know what's out there. I don't know. And it's like, well, just take the first step. Like you're going to be guided each step of the way, but we so love to know every little detail and know how it's going to work out. And when you work with the angels, it doesn't work. They just give you exactly what you need to know, and they can see things and know things that our mind can't, like you were saying earlier. So yeah, it's this beautiful, gentle, loving relationship that you get to have.
It's almost like a dance, right? This beautiful dance that you get to do with your angels. And I love what you said about how, we just need to take that first step. And I can so relate to needing to know or wanting to see the whole picture before I take that first step. And so often that's what holds us back. That's what holds us back from making that big career transition of wanting to start our business or wanting to go down a new career path that we've never done before. It's like, well, if I can't see exactly how it's all playing out, I'm not going to do it. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is that most people end up living lives that they were never meant to live, and it's such a missed opportunity, I think, for us as human beings, because in this society and the way that we've evolved, right? I get it. It's like we're wired for survival, and because we can't see what's happening in the unknown, we're afraid that that's going to, quote unquote, kill us or annihilate us in some way. And yet what's being asked of us now is to step into that greater trust, right? And I think there's so many people right now that are waking up to the unseen realms, to understanding that there's more to life than just the physical reality that we can see with our five senses, which is why I wanted to launch this podcast and have people like you sharing your deep wisdom. So can everybody speak to their angels? And can they speak to their angels at the level that you can, for example? Or do you think that that's a particular gift that certain people are given? And yeah, how would you elaborate on that?
So everyone can speak and communicate with their angels. And in terms of my level, everyone can. I know, again, I want to break that myth in the spiritual, only the highly spiritual can, the gurus and only them. And it's everyone can. And it's a practice, I always go back to the gym analogy of like, when you're starting, it's just a little bit of weights and then more and more and more, but it is a practice. And it's not one that's hours on end. It's going to take so much time. It's this beautiful journey that you get to go through, but it is a practice of, it starts off with, I didn't get to my level now when I first learned about them. It started off with this, I'm like, oh, these cards are beautiful. I love the message. And then just learning more about them, like, oh, I have angels around me. And then, oh, I can talk with them. Oh, they can help me. Oh, they can help me with anything. And it just continues to build. And that's why I really love seeing the journey when I get to work with people. Like in the beginning, they're like, okay, I'm going to talk with them, then trust them. Oh, trust them with anything. Okay, they told me to do so. Okay, but I'm going to trust. And that gets to deepen. So in the beginning, trusting, yes. And it starts off, and I share with people like the small things of when they say, go to this supermarket instead of that one, or wear this dress instead of that, trusting in those ways. And they may seem small, but you're building up that muscle of trusting on something that's not high stakes, right? It's like, wear the red dress, not the, we can do that, right? But not everyone does. I'm like, no, I planned on the red. I don't know what the angel, forget it, so it's being able to trust and build up that muscle so that you continue to do that, so that later when they're telling you these bigger events happening, you don't question it. You're not worrying about it. So I do believe everyone can reach this level where, just like me, it's just, are you willing to be dedicated to that beautiful practice? But it can be to the point where like literally anything my angels tell me to do, I'm like, okay, great. Like start your own business, move across the country, do this next step. I'm always like, okay, great. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Never, it so doesn't even faze me. I'm not like, wait, are you sure? It's always yes, okay. And everyone can get to that level, but we start building and starting off small and trusting and deepening. And that trust continues to deepen. It continues for me. Like, it's amazing how much every time I keep growing and up leveling and shifting, more and more my relationship with angels deepens even more. More trust is even there. And it continues. It's this lifelong partnership that you get to have.
That's so beautiful and so magical and so inspiring that we can all develop this deep relationship with our angels, and we all have that ability as humans. So it's super inspiring. I'm curious, because you've worked with so many people, what are, if you were to say like the top 3 messages that the angels want us to know, like what is the themes that you keep seeing again and again? What are those 3 messages?
Yes. The first one is like, there's nothing for you to worry about. And that is a tricky one. That is the challenging one, because we worry about so many. We're like, how am I gonna have the money to pay for this, or what career choice is next, or I don't know if I should do this or this, and we get so caught up in our mind, and it literally just spins round and round, and then that's all we're thinking about. But angels just want, there's never anything to worry about, because they are there to help us and to show us. So that's the first thing. The other one is like, we're never alone. So even when you're going through something that you may think is really challenging, and something like, I don't know how I'm gonna make my way through, just always know you're supported and loved. So you're never going through anything alone. And then the third part is, I would say, part of that trust. It's just the message of like, you can fully surrender and trust me. Like, surrender it all, no matter how big or small. And there is no big and small at the universe. It's all the same. But anything what we perceive as big or small events, just see what would happen if I just released it and said, I'm going to let it go. You're instantly going to feel better. And then just say, okay, I'm going to trust my angels.
I love that. And I love how the trust and surrender really ties into the not worrying, right? Because those two go hand in hand. I find that anytime I am able to surrender and let go, it's like the worry dissipates immediately. Like, it's like, oh, I don't have to hold on to this worry because there's no point in doing that. Because it doesn't help us, the worrying doesn't, and in Ayurveda, we talk about how worry just immediately imbalances one of the main doshas, which is Vata. So it's like, it's not helping our mind body system in any way. When you're ruminating on something, you're not coming up with new solutions. You're not able to act. Most of the time you're actually kind of blocked from acting. And so it's like, yeah, why not trust and surrender? It's so much more beneficial. Okay. This was such an amazing conversation. conversation. I guess just to end it off, I would love people to know if there's like one practice. I know you said trusting is one and just like being open, but if there's like a daily practice that people can do that's specific that would really help them open up into deepening a relationship with their angels, what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people when they wake up, just close their eyes and just take a couple deep breaths and just say, okay, angels, I know you're here. I'm listening. Thank you for guiding me throughout the day. And just get up and just go on about your day and just see what unfolds for you. See what messages you hear, what pops up in your day to day, and just see where you're guided and to just listen to that. And yeah, that's a great just way of just getting started. See who enters into your life, like who's coming in and what message they have to say, what email might pop up that has just the right words, what all of a sudden you're inspired to go to the bookstore and you pick this book that has everything you want it to have, or you get inspiration of, oh, I don't know where that came from, but I feel guided to do this. So just asking and then letting that go and just see what unfolds for you throughout your day.
Oh, that's amazing and so simple. So I think everybody can try that at home. I'm going to be starting to do that as well when I wake up in the morning. Thank you so much, Carmela, for sharing your wisdom and your experience and the angel medicine. If I can just ask you to leave off where people can find you, where they can find your work, if they want to work with you, please share that.
Thank you so much. This has been incredible. I so love just connecting with everyone. And I'm like, angels, my number one goal is I want to teach as many people as possible how easy it can be to connect with their angels so they know they're not alone. People can find me mostly on Instagram. So I'm 777angel_blessings. I do beautiful angel readings. I have my Angelic Connection program where I teach you step by step how to connect with your angels. And then also my spiritual advisory where we get to connect and help you along your spiritual path.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to the Wisdom Reclaimed podcast. I'll see you next time.